I landed in the kitchen in prison. And so coming home from prison, I thought, man, if only I could stay out the kitchen, I can be successful. I can do something. I can stay away from prison because streets and kitchen came back to drugs, not knowing that the kitchen would be my way out, right? And so getting that first job in the kitchen, it changed everything. You know, that opportunity changed everything for me. It changed not only my life, but my wife's life, my kids' life in future, right? Um, that opportunity touched so many more people. And I realized that and I recognize that. And so that's my whole purpose and mission is to provide these same opportunities and support for other people. I really know, I really understand the importance of opportunity with support, not just opportunity, but opportunity with support, and how many lives that can change and how many trajectories that can change for people's lives. And so my whole thing is providing opportunity. That's what my restaurant is about. That's what my cooking is about, right? People always ask me, what's your favorite dish to make? It's the next dish. I want to go through that creative process of failure and success with my team, right? I want to show them how every great thing is built off the bones of failure, right? And that even in that failing, we can get there. And so it's always the next dish, cooking with people. Yeah.
Think back to your first job. What advice would you give yourself now?
I get thinking back to my first job, what advice would I give myself? I always answer that question with this because I get asked that question. If I could tell my younger self anything, what would I tell him? What advice would I give him? And I would say, do the same thing. If the circumstances haven't changed, if the environment hasn't changed, repeat the process because you made it out, right? I'm here taking that route, given the circumstances and situation. So if everything stays the same, I will do it the same way. I would hope that it would spark a period in time, right? That the flavors of in some way, remind them of a period in time in their life where they had a dish as a child, or cooking with their kids, or just something to bring up a great feeling or a great memory. I think that's the important thing about cooking and creating food is telling that story, and being able to take a person back to a childhood or a beautiful moment in their life. So that's what I always want my dish to do is to take a person back to that memorable moment. Mentorship for me in the kitchen is being the example, right? Being the example for those that surround you. Mentorship for me is doing those small things, right? Experiencing the failures and being tangible. Like people have, from it, mentorship for me is not about words. Let's put it that way, right? It's showing people the way by example, by going through it. Being the first one to go through it and show them. I have this thing with my team where you don't work for me, you work with me, right? And we do it all together. Mentorship is involving people in the process, not being a dictator or making all the decisions, right? Mentorship for me is allowing people to participate in the decision making and also allowing them to fail, even though you may know that that's not the way, but they have to learn, right? You can't always give them the answer. And so that's mentorship for me. Oh, Chef Works is the best. I love Chef Works and their coats, the ventilation. If you think back to the old chef coats, that's heavy and just hot. This is all I wear if Chef works. I typically wear a black one. Tonight wearing white, matches my truck.
Events like this, do you do them often?
Yes.
Okay.
So I typically will do events like this in my restaurant on Mondays. We may do pop-ups, collaborations, takeovers, fundraising, um, and it's an opportunity for me to learn. I didn't go to culinary school, so being able to get in the kitchen with other chefs and kind of taste what they're doing, seeing what they're doing, this is my education, right? If I don't get amongst the people that's doing it, then I'm stagnated. You know what I mean? And so that's how I learn. So I always encourage doing collaboration work. If you were a fly on the wall in my kitchen at my restaurant, what would you see and what would you hear? I guess it all depends on the night, right? We have great music, great energy, great vibe, but you could either hear a concert where people is cooking and singing and just like the whole vibe is going in the kitchen. You can hear like this buzz of a machine just in motion. Everybody just quiet and just like just working and like in tune. Or you can hear an absolute shit show where it's a circus and there's pots slamming and doors being pushed open and yelling in the kitchen because we wasn't properly set up and we underestimated the night and it's whooping our ass. So you'll get one of those three things in the kitchen on any given night.
If it's a really hard night, how do you recover?
For me, if it's a really, really hard night, I have a couple of steps that I do. One, I get with my general manager and ask her to pause seating, right? Then I tell my kitchen to stop, reset. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Reset, clean, get organized, right? Get back to those small disciplines, right? And that 5, 7, 10 minutes, that pressure kind of subsides. You know what I mean?